This is Anime Out of Context, a comedy review podcast hosted by a weeb of the highest order, alongside a cynical man who knows nothing about anime. Our show features spoilers, explicit language, and poor fact-checking. Neither of our hosts are experts on any topic, and none of their opinions should be taken as fact. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I am born into an Italian crime syndicate just to find a reason to get out of this shit.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Remington, I'm feeling pumped.
I'm feeling less pumped.
Why's that, Rem?
I'm a bit drained. Things have been a little bit oof around here lately.
Is it because you went and got more plasma drawn again?
Sure, we'll go with that fluid.
Oh. Oh, I see. We're earning that explicit tag early this time. That'll be nice. That way, Big Apple won't be able to have any questions or doubts when they preview our podcast.
We have told Apple we are an explicit podcast. Why then, when we look at our Spotify metrics, is 20% of our audience below 18? Who knows? These are mysteries that cannot be solved.
Nah, see, I think it's a new thing, Remington. I think adults are listing themselves as younger.
Oh, is that the case?
Just
is that
so
what they're doing now?
that they don't mess up the demographics.
Yes, we'd like to make it clear. Obviously, we have no listeners that are below age 18 because obviously we're an explicit podcast, which means 18 and up, and no one would break that rule.
Absolutely.
Right, guys?
We have no cool babies in the audience.
All right, so what are we jumping into this week? Is it something to kill me, something surprisingly good, or something to kill me?
You said one of those things twice.
If it was directly proportional to the reality of the thing, I would have said it many more times.
I mean, you could just use exponents at that point, Rem.
I would like to present the following math equation to all of our listeners.
To be fair, most of your analogies are via math equation.
It's true. I make a lot of anime comparisons via adding, multiplying, or dividing other anime.
Yeah, you've got like a formulaic approach to anime review, which is not to say unexpected. It's just very rational for a very irrational medium.
Here's my hot take this week. Mathematics, more fun than anime. We're going to have a small subset of fans that actually agree with that.
If that's the case, then my high school DxD hint would have gotten a much higher reception.
It was awful. All right.
Thank you.
So what are we doing this week? What are we jumping into? Why am I regretting all of my life choices up till now?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with the show, why you're regretting your life choices. But today, Remington, I wanted to talk to you about a subject that we have had mixed results on.
Oh, no.
And by mixed, I mean mostly bad.
Good start. Okay.
But I do this with good faith. Because, Remington, we've watched about 3 sports anime.
Oh, no. All right. Here we go.
And the reception wasn't great. First, we had Kuroko no Basket.
Real bad.
Then we had Keijo.
Oh, real bad.
And then we had Chihaya Furu.
Pushing it on the sports, but at least it was decent.
Hey, it's very physically intensive.
See, because you mentioned that, we're going to get a lot of people in Discord reminding us of a certain promise we made.
I may or may not have been trying to memorize some of the poets.
Oh, shit. We've yet to even decide if we're doing Japanese or English.
Well, I figured I'd give myself some kind of advantage.
Oh, God.
Because knowing you will forget about it until the day it's actually due.
Yes, it won't even matter whether we do English or Japanese. I'll be fucked either way.
Yeah, I mean, you're a pretty smart guy, but you sucked as a student.
So, I take it we're doing another sports anime then.
We are. We're actually going to be doing probably the most requested sports anime that we've ever had the desire or interest to cover. There's only been one other one that's been about as highly requested, but I'm choosing the one that I actually like over the one that I am partially irked with, but not for any major critical reasons, mostly because I've been on the receiving end of a lot of, let's call it merchandise.
Okay.
So we're not going with that one today. Instead, we're going to go with an anime called Haikyu.
Wait a minute. Wait, Shaun.
Yes.
Shaun. I've heard about this anime.
Have you?
Now, let me explain. Or more accurately, like, I saw its name one time when we were watching an anime on Crunchyroll. And there was a big banner ad about it, which makes me think that like maybe there's a new season of it or something. And that's all I know about it. So there we go. There's my there's my prior knowledge. I saw.
Could you even tell me what sport it is?
Wait. It had a subtitle.
Did it?
Shit. I'm like having to go so deep into my memory because whenever we open up Crunchyroll, I just like self-censor out literally everything.
Your eyes kind of glaze over.
Yeah. Wait. I'm tapping deep within myself.
Oh, well, you should not do that in front of me. It's very embarrassing.
Haikyu. So that means that you hike. Genius.
No, Remington. It's not. It's not the English word for hiking.
I'll be honest, Shaun. Like a part of me, I was like, I probably got it wrong, but I feel like I nailed it. I wasn't confident, but I felt damn good about it.
God damn it, Remington.
All right, so not hiking, that eliminates one.
No, of the many possible outcomes. No. No. So, Remington, you were close.
Oh, hell yeah, that means I basically nailed it.
And by close, I mean it involves elevation.
See? What is hiking but walking with elevation?
Volleyball, Remington. The anime is about volleyball.
What is volleyball if not walking with spurts of elevation? What we have learned here is that hiking and volleyball are basically the same. I'm not saying they're identical. However, I'm saying if they were to fuck, it'd be incestuous.
Oh, God, Rem, no. Oh, God.
All right, so we got a volleyball anime, which I'm sure in no way sexualizes any of its participants.
No, that's the fan's job.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, because if we're talking sliders here, the amount of guy-on-guy...
Oh, is it actually, like, male volleyball?
Yeah, it's male volleyball.
Oh.
Yeah, no, most sports anime actually center around dudes. Mostly because of the similarities it shares with a lot of shonen elements. Although I will say the biggest fan base for a lot of sports anime is largely female.
Okay, well.
So you're gonna get some of that yaoi baiting there from here and there.
All right, so you had a scale for sports anime.
I did.
I remember one of the two, and that was homoeroticism.
Oh yes.
I don't remember the other scale. Was it just like action, sports, some bullshit like that?
The scale was how supernatural it gets.
Oh yeah, okay, supernatural ability and homoeroticism.
Yeah, because a lot of anime will have this fun thing where they're doing completely normal, mundane things, and they will add like a super anime effect or name to it, like ground spike or
which I've learned that I often enjoy, though not in all cases.
Yeah, and most of the ones we've covered have leaned very heavy into the supernatural side of things.
All right, so with that, I'm gonna guess this one leans the other way.
That would be correct. If I had to say, as far as realism goes, it's still a sports shonen anime. So you're gonna have some fluffy anime physics.
It's elevated reality.
Elevated reality. That's a good way to put it.
It's hiking reality.
Okay, listen here. I feel like you're hiking my chain on this one.
Wait, Shaun.
Yes.
Wait.
Okay. I can wait. How long?
No, I'll do it in part 2. I need preparation. I have a joke. I have a joke to make. I need to prepare it.
Because as we all know, all the best jokes in an improv comedy podcast require preparation. Actually, most of my jokes are preparation now that I think about it. Bad example. But Remington, if this isn't the most amazing joke or the most amazing anti-joke, I'm going to be horribly disappointed in you. You're actually taking the time to write it down.
Yeah, one sec. Insert on hold noise. Okay, we're back. All right, Shaun, I prepared the joke.
Okay, little parting the kimono here a little bit. That was only like 2 minutes of preparation.
All right, so Shaun,
Oh, you're doing it now.
I've written something.
You've written
for you.
something.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a haiku.
God damn it.
I said it was a joke earlier. This is actually very serious.
Okay.
And I would like it to be taken seriously.
All right. Okay. Shall I get into a full kneeling's position?
Preferably, but to pay respects in a different way. Elevated walk. Volleyball is just hiking. Don't fuck your sister. Thank you. Thank you for adding in applause, Dylan. It was well deserved. I'm not going to say poet of the century. However, poet of the millennium. Who knows? It's not for me to say. It's for the people. And as the voice of the people, they have said it.
Are you sure you don't aspire to be a politician, Rem? Because I swear I see your ilk all across the nation at this point.
As the voice of the people have allowed me to be the voice of the people. The voice of the people says that the people say they approve of the voice of the people being the voice of the people, and they trust the voice of the people.
Yo, dog, I heard you like people. So you put some voice in your people so you can have some people while you make your voice your people.
All right, so my question for you, Shaun, is Haikyu better than my haiku?
Yes.
Excuse me? It better be goddamn transcendent.
As far as I'm concerned, yeah.
All right, well, we'll see. What is it about?
Well, Remington, it's a sports anime about volleyball.
Which, basically, we're never going to get to the actual synopsis.
No, we're getting to it right the fuck now. So Haikyu, Remington, is a pretty standard underdog story, right? It's about a volleyball team from a high school called Karasuno. Karasuno High School, which is a not really known for its volleyball team these days. It used to be quite a big volleyball giant back in the day. And the show starts when our main character, Hinata, goes and joins the volleyball club in hopes of being one of the best spikers that he can be and live up to his ideal dream.
All right, so right now it's exactly what you would expect.
Yeah, like, it's not... Sports anime have a habit of starting the same. There's a reason I
mean, to be fair, this is one of the few things where I will acknowledge it's not just sports anime. Sports shows in the West are all the same, like superhero movies. Volleyball is to hiking what superhero movies are to sports movies. It's all the same.
Man.
So hiking equals Marvel? And no, okay, don't worry about this. I'm figuring this out in my head. You keep talking.
Your metaphor equation is
It's getting a bit convoluted.
Yes. Here. So inspired after watching a volleyball ace nicknamed Little Giant in action.
What a name.
Yeah. Small-statured Shoyo Hinata revives the volleyball club at his middle school.
Oh, shit. Is it just going to be like, lol, he's short again? Oh, no. Wait a minute. Do we just have another Kuroko on our hands?
No.
Okay.
We do get some of those jokes because, I mean, it's to be expected. Because in a show where it's all about, like, skill versus natural gift, body structure, things like that, you're going to get some short jokes in there. But the thing about volleyball is, Remington, is volleyball is a pretty versatile sport, actually. Because it's primarily for taller people, because after all, you got a net that's super huge. And most, like, spikers and blockers and aces and like that are taller. But there is
Shaun, I have a quick question.
What's your question?
How much of your volleyball knowledge has come directly from Haikyu?
Now, Remington. Let me be perfectly clear. I do a lot of research for this show.
Oh, dude. How much of it was just watching IQ?
A good majority. But I also did some in-depth research on the volleyball Wikipedia.
Beautiful. All right, continue.
And there is a very common position for a shorter player, the libero, I believe, or libero. Pronunciation has never been my strong suit. Which is kind of like your back of the group ground receiver. So having someone who's short and low to the ground is good for getting the balls and knocking them to their other players, the setters and whatnot. But Hinata does not want to do that because he saw a sports clip of a player with the nickname Little Giant who was a spiker, a person who's on the shorter side and would almost seem like he was flying when he jumps up above the net to smack down a ball, which is pretty great for inspiration if you're a bit on the shorter side and you want to do something really cool in a sport you enjoy. The short trope is kind of probably the most common trope in any sports-related medium out there, but a lot of times it can be used pretty fun and effectively, and I feel like that Haikyu is probably one of the better examples of that in anime.
All right, so right now it seems fine, seems dandy, seems like all the other sports things. Problem, Shaun, I'm not terribly into sports ball or sports ball shows.
And you think I am?
No, but you're super into animes, so I assume it doesn't really matter what it's about.
Okay, listen here. Sports anime are about friendship, love, and passion, damn it.
Okay. Well, we shall see. And what are the other characters that they are befriending that I'm sure are super meaningful to the plot?
Oh, they are, actually. Because the team consists of about 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 players on a volleyball team. And I think 6 play at any given time, if I'm not mistaken. There's so I say Hinata's our main character.
Yep.
We also have a kind of a secondary main character, that being the Lancer, the rival to Hinata, who's also his teammate. And that is a fellow by the name of Kageyama. And Kageyama is where Hinata kind of has a little bit of a gift for jumping, and that's about it. Kageyama is kind of like an ideal setter. Do you know what a setter is, Remington?
Hell no.
Okay, so in volleyball, the position of setter is the person that lines up with the net, receives the ball after it's been, saved from falling, and sets it up in the air for a spiker to slam down and knock over. He's kind of like the, sports terminology has never been my best.
He's the helpy boy.
Yes, Remington. He's the helpy boy. He's kind of like the central role in a volleyball team.
I want to make it clear to everyone, don't be fooled by my extreme lack of knowledge of all things anime. I also have an extreme lack of knowledge of all things.
Yep, that is very accurate, which is why we do like a semi-informational podcast. And Kageyama is kind of widely regarded as being a fantastic setter. Problem is he's so good at certain things that he asks too much from his teammates, and has gotten kind of a reputation of being a bit of a dick.
Good chance he'll be my favorite character.
Possibly. He reminds me of Dylan, is the way I'll phrase it. He's got those edge boy like kudere tones to him.
Oh man, I know you said that, and I know exactly what kind of character this is.
Yeah, and he doesn't entirely mean to be. It's just like, I need you to jump up this high and hit this ball, and nobody can really compete with him because he keeps asking for too much. And that kind of gives him a bad reputation, and in his middle school team, he eventually kind of got, shuffled off, and that all those quote-unquote friendships were banished, so now he's at this kind of no-name school trying to play volleyball, blah, 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 blah.
It's just like how Dylan expects way too much from us, like being good at talking nonsense into a microphone and not constantly going off on bullshit tangents that he has to edit out. I want y'all to know, if you guys ever think, Wow, it seems like they're going on a lot of tangents. You have no idea.
That's the problem when we have two people, one of which has severe ADD and the other person is just a bit of a dick, and it's hard to keep track of these things. But yeah, no, so Kageyama is to Dylan so Dylan's our setter, basically. And the show primarily...
wait, if he's the setter...
Yes?
Who is the spiker and who is shortstop? I don't remember the role.
Shortstop. Libero.
Libero. All right. I think I'm the spiker.
Yeah.
Because I am the star of the show. Couldn't help myself.
If anything, you're on the fucking enemy team, brother.
You know what? That's just true.
Yeah, so it would be like Dylan.
You're the libero. Dylan is the setter. There's no spiker, and I'm over on the other side.
Yeah, I'm just here to catch your bullshit and hopefully send it back at you. And Dylan catches most of our. Dylan's also our blocker. Let's just put it that way.
Dylan is our team.
Dylan is our team. I just send crap to you, and you send it back to me, and we just kind of. And Dylan tries to make any fucking sense of it.
Maybe he's the net. All right, focus.
We're off topic. But so the show starts off with these two kind of main key characters. They are the new first years at this school, and they are trying to get into volleyball, and it's kind of their journey of becoming friendly rivals while also fighting all the time, as well as trying to get their team back into a position where that they can hopefully, win nationals. I mean, that's any sports team's goal. And it turns into, your good old-fashioned bonding sports manly affair.
All right, neat.
And that's basically what Haikyu's about, and it's very fun and entertaining, and I like all the characters. They all matter to an extent, and there's not really... It's not as much of a Kuroko as you would assume. It's actually, currently on Mal, it's actually the highest rated team sports anime.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the first season is sitting at an 8.62, which means it's number 63 of all anime.
Wow.
It's not my favorite sports anime. My favorite sports anime is ping pong. But that's... I'm not making that up either. We'll do that one eventually.
That's a very Shaun answer, just based on the sport alone.
And I'm awful at ping pong.
Yep, you're awful at ping pong, but at the same time, it's a very Shaun sport.
It is. It is.
All right, so right now, I imagine it'll be a good anime. Will I care about it? Who knows? We'll see. It'll have to convince me because sports.
Right. And hopefully you'll find some good things to say about it, because we didn't get very much flack for Kuroko no Basket. We got a decent amount of flack for Chihayafuru.
Can I note something?
Yeah.
I have so much Kuroko no Basket merchandise now.
I know.
And Shaun has given me some, and then other people have given me Kuroko no Basket merchandise. It's a little bit ridiculous. It's like, here are my top 3 weeb bullshit that I have. The most I think is Kuroko no Basket.
Yep.
Second is Umaru-chan.
Yep.
And then the third, I would say Cowboy Bebop generally, but it's just Ein. I have bought none of these. Like, I'm obtaining way too much weeb memorabilia.
And you'll only continue to gather more as long as
I
you're
just
my
needed
friend.
to vent.
But to be fair, I did give you a little plushie of a Kuroko 2, which was really cute.
Which is the best part of Kuroko no Basket, and I haven't even seen that part yet.
Mm-hmm. And ultimately, Rem, I think this is a really good show. It hits all of my shonen manly spirit buttons pretty well. As with most shonen anime, it's probably going to start too slowly for your taste.
Oh, okay, that means it's bad.
That's not what it means at all, you son of a bitch. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Highly requested. Not using a bullshit rule on it because I have other plans for that. bullshit rule. But we're going to watch a good chunk of it, and hopefully you'll have some nice positive things to say about it, because if you don't, well, let's just say there are going to be some people that are going to be quite angry with us.
Oh, yeah, because that's always deterred me in the past.
Yeah, it's true. But at the same time, some of them Haikyu fanboys and fangirls can be pretty fucking vicious. Like, most of the emails we got were like, so I know Rem didn't like Kuroko no Basket, but he must like Haikyu.
Well, we shall see.
And if you don't, Rem, I'm sure you're going to get way more Haikyu merchandise than you are going to get Kuroko no Basket merchandise. But I think that's about all you need to know, Rem. And without further ado, back after consuming the first 4 episodes of the hit 2014 anime, Haikyu. And Remington, I'm about to serve you a nice, easy chance to compliment some things, so please don't spike it down on our side of the net, because otherwise, there's nothing scarier than angry fangirls, Rem. That's all I'm trying to say. Fanboys I can deal with, but fangirls? Man.
Well...
Oh, here we go.
Here, let me start off by saying, from what I saw, my impression of Haikyu is that it was made by an extremely talented, creative, and thoughtful 13-year-old.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Rem, no. Rem, you can't do this. You can't just come in here and do something awful like that.
That could be interpreted favorably. Like, they're a very talented 13-year-old.
I've read Aragon. I know how that goes. Oh, dear. Well, it's fine. It's fine. I see no problems with the future at all in regards to this, considering it's one of the most highly rated sports anime on Mal, primarily due to fangirl voting, from what I can tell, but that's besides the point. So really, Ram, let's get into it. What do you think of the volleyball spiking anime?
Well, it starts off with this sort of like monologue narration that is so melodramatic. Good God. It's all about the heights he must prevail over, the walls he must overcome. There's like lighting effects, and it was very weird. And there are many moments like this that just don't feel like this is the right anime for that tone.
What are you trying to say?
They'll like try to be sort of deep and dramatic, and I don't want to say that it's like pretentious, but it definitely tries weirdly hard in that direction, even though it definitely does not seem to be that kind of anime.
Well, it's about the pure dramatic focus of being in a sports team. You know, that manly spirit, that coming together as a team. And
No, but this isn't like the manly spirit, intense kind of drama. This is like when you're 8 years old and you were on a car ride with your parents and it was raining outside, so you would place your head on the window with the droplets and you'd be like, oh man, I could belong in an album cover right now. This is deep as shit. And that's a hyper-specific thing, but I bet you that at least half, if not more, of the people listening did that when they were a child. And some do that now because they are children.
Are you announcing your own personal habits there, Mr. Remington?
Undeniably, but I do not think that I am unique in that regard. That or similar habits of that is very much what it felt like, where it was just like you're real talented, but your life revolves around DeviantArt and Tumblr. Like, that's
God.
sort of the vibe I was getting a lot of the time.
Look, just because the majority of the fan content comes from DeviantArt and Tumblr for this show does not mean you have the right to throw all kinds of disrespectful shade in their direction. Lots of great things come from Tumblr.
Then we get an OP that's very middle of the road. It's whatever. I can't imagine fans are clamoring to this OP.
It's okay.
The visuals feel like borderline 90s sitcom, like it's pushing that front a little bit. Music, pretty generic. It's fine.
Yeah, the OPs in later seasons are much better, in my opinion. But
This also, very interestingly, this is not a note I usually make because it's about the voice acting, specifically for one character, and that's the main character, Hinata.
yeah.
It felt very weird and not amazing. And it wasn't like the worst, but I don't know. The voice acting didn't jive with me. And that's normally not a note I make because, frankly, I don't give a shit. I just hear Japanese words and I'm struggling to pay attention to any of it in the first place. So normally I can't even bother to think about the voice acting. But this one, it was noticeably strange to me.
Huh, that's a very interesting criticism. I've never had issues with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just...
And it's funny that you mentioned that, Remington, because the seiyuu, or voice actor for Hinata, is also someone who you've really enjoyed voice acting from.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, specifically, they voice the majority of characters in Bananya.
Oh, my God. See, that actually makes, like, a lot of sense. Banana, they nail it. I don't think this is their forte, or maybe they just made strange choices. I don't know, but there was just a bit of a disconnect there. All of the other characters seem like they're fine voice acting, but this one was just noticeable and strange because of that.
Yeah, that's a criticism I've never really heard directed at Hinata before.
Yeah, well, here, what can I say? I'm full of unique opinions.
Yeah, and I'm just scrolling through the list of the other things they've voiced, trying to find things you'd recognize. There's not much. But yeah, no, like,
I don't know.
every time I've listened to this...
Maybe stick to Banana Cats.
Wow. That's fucking harsh. Jesus Christ,
I couldn't help
Rem.
myself. I'm sure they're wildly talented.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, there's a shit ton of roles that are attributed to them, and considering how popular Haikyu is...
And then, so the first episode, they're in junior high, and Hinata has basically just collected his friends and gotten them to play in a tournament, and they face off against a team who has the king on their team, and this is the Sasuke of the show, because good God, every show needs Sasuke apparently, and he's exactly what you'd expect, and then they do this flashback very soon into the first episode of like Hinata working hard to get to this point and convincing all of his friends to join. But it was a weirdly paced flashback and first episode. Like, in a lot of ways, I felt like I had just missed a season. Like, I felt like I was missing shit. I didn't know why they started that point because with the flashback, they tried to cram in backstory that immediately preceded what we're seeing now. And I don't know, the pacing was real weird. Also, a lot of the characters, like Hinata and his teammates, like, really, then this one isn't even like a negative note. It's just another weird thing. Lots of very feminine mannerisms. Which could like contribute to the yaoi baiting, for sure. But it was just weird creative decisions. Once again, this one's not even like a bad decision. It didn't make it worse of an anime. It was just weird. And so, like, this anime just makes strange decisions. The directorial choices for Haikyu don't make sense to me.
To be fair, most anime doesn't make sense to you, though, Rem.
Yeah, but at least I can often figure out what it's going for. This one I struggled with a bit. And so they're combating, and it's like amazing team with Sasuke wannabe versus shit team with Hinata. And there's like this extremely intense... Hinata goes for a jump, and oh my God, the melodrama's back, boys. It's... like, the time stops. He slowly cradles his arm into the air before slamming it into a bunch of hands. As a side note, there's some, like, score setters in this episode, who both were my favorite characters in episode 1. They didn't have any lines. They had a couple lines, but they're relatively irrelevant. But I really enjoyed them. Also, it was the best yaoi baiting of the show so far because I ship the score setters.
It's a shame you'll never see them again.
I know. They were adorable together. They actually had chemistry together. And I won't say that other characters don't have chemistry because the show somewhat does it well, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, and so, of course, Hinata and his team lose because they can't do anything. They do surprisingly well, have some decent moments. But it was just so weirdly paced. Like, it felt like it was at a breakneck speed, and it was jumping all around and inserting a bunch of flashbacks. And it didn't let me gain my grounding.
It's trying to keep you off guard.
It was such a weird first episode. So episode 2 starts. We get an episode 1 flashback because of course we do. And now Hinata, he's trained a bit. Now he's going to high school, and he wants to be, of course, on the volleyball team. And it's around this time that I realized the show is like 2 things in very large margins. One, the show is pretty clunky and awkward a lot of the time. 2, this show is goofy as shit. And it's not that and I don't mean like necessarily humorous or silly or whimsical. It's just goofy as fuck.
You're gonna have to be a bit more descriptive than that, my dude.
Like, I don't know, man. If you've ever seen like some 12-year-olds get together and just make jokes with one another, and like it's sort of charming in a way, but you're like, how does your brain work? What's going on there? The show was created by 12-year-olds, I swear to God.
Wow.
And Hinata as a character, everything about Hinata is just a 12-year-old. Everything. Like, ignore even like the size and bullshit like that. Hinata's behavior in no way signals any type of maturity. They are 12. You can tell me that they aren't 12, but I guarantee they are 12.
I mean, they're technically supposed to be 15, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Maybe the others, not Hinata. And then one girl exists in the show. She just exists to be ogled at, which is pretty meh, but whatever.
She doesn't, but that's...
So far,
yeah,
she only exists to be ogled at.
There's more to her than that, though.
I mean, later on, but so far, 100% of her characterization is that. Am I wrong? Give me an example in the first 4 episodes where she didn't exist solely to get ogled at.
I mean...
Yeah, I thought so, bitch.
But it's still trivializing her whole thing as a character, which hurts me a little bit since I've seen the whole series.
Yeah, but I'm not the one trivializing it. The show is the one trivializing it because that's all they've given. You can't be like, Remington, how dare you say an accurate statement about a character? How dare you say that a character is one-dimensional when they have only been presented as one-dimensional? Like, that, you can't blame me for that. That's what the show has done.
I don't know. You're just still being a bit harsh without knowing anything else.
I'm not being harsh. I'm saying the one thing I know about the character. I can't give any nuance because there is no nuance with her yet. You're asking me to like have a complex opinion about something that has not been presented in a complex way. Sure, maybe later she gets better. Right now she only exists to get ogled at. So then... we sort of get like an introduction, and of course, King Sasuke is also at this same school, and now Hinata and King Sasuke, they're going to have to team up. Ooh, how are they going to do that? Who knows? And there's actually a weird thing about this show is it has moments of really solid like character chemistry that I really enjoy. But often it's so like clunky and stilted. Like the show is more charming than it is good, is my opinion of it so far.
Oh, dear.
Then we also get introduced to, like, the 3 important high schoolers, the third years, I think they all are. There's Tanaka, who's been he's not the main guy, but he's the most important one so far for us, for our purposes.
Oh, yeah.
Then...
He's actually a second year, by the way.
Oh, okay. Then we have Daichi...
Yep.
And then the other one.
And then the other one. Rude.
Daichi is like the leader of the club, and then the other one is the other one.
Yeah, that would be Sugawara.
Sure. And Tanaka, solid character. Real solid character, real enjoyable.
He's one of my favorites,
Once
honestly.
again, goofy as shit.
Yeah.
But in a very good way this time. The main two, King Sasuke and Hinata, don't really care about up to this point. In fact, I often struggled to care when watching the show.
Oof.
I know. I wanted to care too.
Do you, though? You rarely seem like you want to do much of anything.
I mean, the show's gotta meet me halfway. This one didn't. In my headcanon, this show was like the first show made by a studio by a first-time author of a manga or something along those lines. Like it's a bunch of people just getting into the industry, doing their damnedest and doing real good with finite resources. That's my headcanon, and that allows me to admire the show. If it is done by a really, really big studio that has had experience and a budget, that will negatively impact my opinion on the show.
I don't want to confirm nor deny.
Oh, no.
I'm just gonna say the studio was produced by Production IG, and they've produced some really good anime, but they've also produced, they also produce Attack on Titan and Kuroko no Basket.
Oh, God. See, like, right now, Haikyu feels like a really charming high school student film type deal.
Oh, God.
And so it's like, I can enjoy a lot of what you're going for, but there's a lot that doesn't quite work, that's a little bit clunky here and there. So essentially, within the story of Haikyu at this point, we have King Sasuke and Hinata. They're arguing and fighting, and the third and second years are like, yo, you can't be on the team if this is how you're going to behave. You got to learn how to actually work together. We got 2 other first years. You guys are going to have a game together. It'll be 3-on-3. Each one of the teams will get one of us on their team. Cool. And so they start training, right? And in episode 3, we get introduced to the 2 other second years, or really only one of the other second years, because one of them doesn't fucking matter. One of them is in the background like a motherfucker. And the other one is Tsuki?
Yes.
All right, so we got Tsuki.
Oh, they're both first years, by the way.
Yes. And Tsuki is like the temporary antagonist of this little mini arc.
Yeah, his full name is Tsukishima, but Suki. But it's good enough. Suki is good enough.
And he is also a real meh character because he exists to be real bad so far and just make you dislike him because he's just so mean.
Man, you are gonna piss off the fangirls.
This is a great student film, guys. I really appreciate it. Can't wait till you graduate high school and make some better stuff. That's my headcanon for this show. And
God, that's more scathing than
if
your...
that headcanon is just allowed to be true for me, then I may be able to muster up a thumbs up, keep at it sport. If I acknowledge the reality that it was a big experienced studio, it's basically hopeless for Haikyu, for me at least.
I mean, considering it's in the middle of its 3rd season right now.
Maybe.
And it's been on, like, the manga's been ongoing since 2012. The anime's been ongoing since 2014. It's currently one of the highest rated sports anime on Mal.
Hey.
It has some of the most... Let me just tell you right now, I've been looking at our email recommendations for specifically Haikyu. We've gotten a few, not too many, but a few. All of them are like, we think Rem will like this show. This is one of the best sports anime around. This is one of my favorite anime. We really hope Rem likes this. Not a single one of them is like, I don't think Rem will dislike this. They're all like, it has some problems, sure, but we think it's a really good and heartfelt show.
And I also believe it to be heartfelt, but not that good. So Tsuki shows up, and to this point, like, a lot of these characters, they have a lot of potential, and they're interesting. They're actually like, a lot of them are decently nuanced characters, which is nice. You have very few one-dimensional characters other than girl that exists to get ogled. But most of the characters still, even with that in mind, don't click. They're like above average, but they don't quite get there. And so episode 3 is just like a bunch of training and miscellaneous stuff like that. And
Miscellaneous stuff like that, as if that's not one of the main like things in sports anime.
I mean, yeah. Episode 4, once again, really leans into the melodrama because it opens up with the single most pretentious volleyball quote I could ever imagine. I can't remember what exactly the quote was.
It basically boils down to volleyball is a team sport. You can't play it by yourself.
Yeah. And it was like nice and super dramatic. And it was like, what's happening? What is this show? What does it want to be? I don't know. I don't know what the show wants to be. The like dramatic moments have like no tension. This isn't a tense show. It's not a dramatic show, but it has melodrama thrown in there at weird times, and I don't get it. Then we like they're playing. They start playing the game. Tsuki is just being horrible, super condescending, and like the other high schoolers, they've talked about how, well, the king, he's so cocky, he's just really difficult to work with. Oh my word. But they don't say shit about Tsuki, who is way worse than King Sasuke.
Oh no, I agree with that.
And it's weird that that's not, like, they'll occasionally be like, hey, tone it down. But they will emphasize so many times, like, I don't know if King Sasuke could ever make it. He's just so arrogant. He's not a team player. Meanwhile, Tsuki is like, hey, you fucking suck. You're a piece of shit. I hate you. You guys are going to lose. Like the least team player thing possible, degrading them at all times. And it's just not really addressed much so far. And that's weird. That's a weird decision.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think the idea is that it's supposed to, like, Kageyama has a bit of a reputation and kind of has more of a standout personality, whereas Tsukishima's stuff is a bit more toned down in comparison, so it doesn't stand out.
But it's not toned down in comparison. It definitely is not toned down in comparison. Like, King Sasuke, he'll get a little bit heated at times, and he'll lash out. But Tsuki, it's just constant. It's never ending. It's just all harassment all the time. And it's like, that seems a lot worse, man. At least King Sasuke, you can see that he's trying. Tsuki just isn't, and they just give him a free pass, and that's weird.
Well, I will say he kind of gets what's coming to him later on.
I mean, that's to be 1,000,000% expected.
Yeah. And Tsuki actually becomes quite a very popular character for a lot of people as well.
So also, while they're playing the game, like, they're trying to find a rhythm, trying to figure out what works. There's this wildly... So at one point, it's talking about, like, the king's toss. And King Sasuke just does a really quick toss. It's what he does. But it's like he hasn't done it in a long time. Yeah. It's your standard, like, trope of, like, having a super move, but I can't do the super move anymore, not after the incident.
I mean, to be fair, he has good reason for not using it because nobody could ever fucking hit it.
No, yeah, I mean, it's fine. Then from this, we get a flashback sequence. And oh my God, I'm going to sound like a broken record. The melodrama. What's going on? It has, like, surrealist elements going for it. It's as if it's like high poetry is what it's attempting. And don't get me wrong, it's admirable that it's trying. It clearly wants to make something, like, really beautiful and thought-provoking. And I appreciate it for sincerely and unironically trying, because that's difficult and that's scary. Unfortunately, I don't think it succeeds. And it's just weird. It's so, the choices this show makes don't make sense. And also throughout all of this, we have multiple moments. And right after that, they're just, like, monologues and long discussions between characters in the middle of this volleyball game. As with most shonen, talking is very much a free action, because in the middle of this volleyball game, they're just having full-blown conversations, interrupting the game. The other team's just like, cool, whatever. It's a little bit weird. At one point, they finally get in sync, Hinata and King Sasuke. They do the King's Toss. Sasuke gets like Sherlock style supervision where time slows down. He analyzes every single detail. There's like a crosshair that's scanning the screen and identifies the pin perfect spot. And it's like, it's silly, but it's not a joke, is how I'd phrase it. And that's why it's a little bit goofy, because it's both silly and completely serious. Like, it's playing it with a straight face. While recognizing it's a little bit over the top. And they start finding a rhythm, real cool. Now they can work together. But like overall, the show, it's just really weird.
I think it's fun.
I don't know. Unfortunately, it could not really keep my attention. I couldn't get invested. I never really cared. There were some moments that I thought were swell, some moments that I thought were enjoyable, some characters or character moments or relationship moments that were solid. But overall, it just seems like a bit of it lacks a bit of polish, is how I'm going to phrase it.
Hachimachi.
I'm going to lie to myself, Shaun, and I'm going to say that a bunch of 15 and 16-year-olds who really liked animation and volleyball, they made this at school and they were very pleased with it and they put a lot of effort into it and they were learning as they went, and that's fine. And they created a decent thing, and you can tell they tried really hard on it, and that should be admirable. And you can tell when they're adults, they're gonna really go places. And that's my headcanon, because that allows me to think of Haikyu in a favorable way. Because if that's the reality I impose upon myself, then yeah, Haikyu is plenty flawed, but you know what? That's fine. Whereas if I accept the actual reality of it was done by a big-ass studio who knows what the fuck they're doing and has a sufficient budget, well, then it's just a real mediocre to bad show. And that's a less happy reality.
Remington, by trying to compliment the show, you have insulted this show more than any other show we've ever covered.
No, that's not true, and you know it. That's hyperbole. I have torn shows to shreds.
Yes, but this is the most backhanded way you've ever done it, and I feel
a little bit, yeah.
I feel super defensive of this show, and I personally think that this is a fine show, and I really enjoy it. It's not my favorite sports anime, and I don't think it should be that high on Mal. But I feel like I need to defend the show to my dying breath at this point.
I mean, given what we've seen so far, I think it's taking second place of sports anime we've covered, which isn't saying a ton, but hey, it's there.
So Keijo's at the top for you then.
Oh, fuck. Get the fuck out of here. Oof.
Oh my God, Rem. Like, I feel hurt. And I didn't have super strong opinions about this show beforehand, but now I feel like I do.
I mean, I also don't have very strong opinions of it now.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Damn you, it's about friendship, it's about teamwork, it's about overcoming obstacles together. This is one of the sports anime that actually does the teamwork motif really fucking well.
I mean, I think it's been doing that a bit better than most sports things we've come across. It's just that this show, it's quaint. It's a quaint little show, and it has a lot of ambition. And maybe when it grows up to be big and tall, then it will grow up to be a good anime.
Do you suffer from frequent nosebleeds in your ivory tower, you son of a bitch? Because holy fuck. Like, are you sure that the Sasuke character of the show is just not you? I'm pretty dang sure you are giving me some very big Kageyama vibes. I think I joked about Dylan being a very Kageyama-esque character, but I'm starting to think that you're the king of the podcast here.
I mean, hey, I hate myself just as much as I hate him, so it's fair. It all works out. Who knows? It's possible.
Oh my God, Remington. We're going to have to come back to this one. I'm going to have to force you to watch more, maybe a whole season at once.
That's unnecessary.
Because I genuinely think that this show has merit compared to what you're giving it, and that...
I think the show has some merit. I also don't think that it's worth watching much more of.
If your nose could be any longer, Remington, they'd call you fucking Pinocchio.
I'm just handling this show with the kid gloves it deserves.
It's amazing you can even see your own dick with a nose that long.
Yeah, so those are my thoughts. The show is mostly weird and a little bit confusing, and it feels a bit disjointed, and I like a lot of the ideas in it. I think I enjoy what it tries to be more than what it is, and that's Haikyu.
Wow. Just wow, Remington. I was considering maybe giving you something nice next week. Just maybe, but now I feel like I can't.
Well,
we'll
see.
I don't know what it is about this, but for some reason, your opinions on this show, no matter how valid they are, piss me off more than some of the other ones we've covered, and I don't understand how that's possible.
Maybe, Shaun, it's because deep down, you know the reality that Haikyu feels a little bit juvenile, a little bit young, and so it feels like a young child that needs defending against the big spooky beast that is me. And so you, even though you don't want to acknowledge it, you know that's the reality of the situation, Shaun.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It must be comfortable sitting on that fucking Budweiser horse.
Oh, this is my life. This is what I do.
Okay, fine, you son of a bitch. I can't take much more of this. I have one final thing to say to you, Remington. Aside from my usual fuck you. Would you be willing to watch more Haiku with me sometime?
I'd rather not, Shaun.
It's a good thing I run this show then. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Before we get out of here, though, we do have a little bit of Haikyu. We're going to do some Haikyu. I've been doing this for 2 years. We have a little bit of house cleaning to do. And top of the list is that we have a Patreon, and Remington is going to be ever so kind as to read aloud the lovely people on our Patreon who have contributed. And if you would also like to contribute, you can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you can get all kinds of bonus content and vote in polls, all kinds of lovely things. So, Remington, who are the lovely people that we are thanking today?
Of course, we always want to thank our bland bitch protagonists as well as our magical girls, but tier above both of those are, of course, the nice and crazed yandere waifus. We have Alexander Nasiasenyo. We have And Miles to Go, Cat Zodiac, Farmer Weeb, Fluffy, Glenn Michael Dolan, Hayden Lecker, H. Wood, Jacob Livingston, Cassidy Justin, Kazu Morocco, Leos123, Salty Pretzel, Sarah Birch, Ultimate 5401, Juliana, and Xerix. But that is not all, folks. Above that, we go and we visit Hogwarts for the Boy Wizard tier. And on that tier, of course, we have the Great Wizard, Brady Weinbarger, and the acclaimed Death Eater, Rich Huffnagel.
Holy shit, he has gone down a dark path.
Rich, what's happened?
Like before, he was like a student or something, but now
It's gotten quite dark, apparently.
Now he's gone down to the dark side. He's certain old Voldemort. Oh, I shouldn't say the name. I'm sorry.
Oh, you fucked up.
Dylan's probably gonna have to bleep that out.
And then, instead of Hogwarts, we go over to the White House, which all the cool kids want to be at, even more than Hogwarts. J.K. Rowling is jealous that she didn't write Cory in the House, the Chevanamusco tier.
No.
We have, of course, the patron saint from on high, Saint. Then, on the flip side of things, way down below, we have the almighty sinner. And I say this with regret in my heart, because I know that this one, I believe, likes Haikyu, and so I'm sorry. Zachary Shirley, my condolences.
Yeah. Surely we're going to have one fewer Chef no Musco tier after this episode. And I can do that joke because he said he liked it. So I'm going to abuse it horribly, and eventually he'll hate it and us.
Yeah, there you go.
But if you don't really have the spare cash to support us on Patreon, then there are other ways you can help support us. We understand it. We get it. Money's hard. But what is always free is reviews on your favorite platform, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, or even better, if you want to help us grow, word of mouth is a good way to do it.
And if you would like to contact us directly, whether it is for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, then you can either tweet us at AnimeConPod or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com, where we do read all of our emails and we reply to a select few because there are just too many.
There are way too many, and
But we appreciate them all.
we love them and appreciate them so much so. Like, I've been nearly brought to tears by some of them for both good reasons and bad.
Some of them are really heartwarming. Some of them are mildly terrifying.
Yeah,
Especially the fan art. Thanks for the fan art, guys.
Oh, yeah, no, we love the fan art.
Sometimes.
Why am I always a girl is the question.
I mean, I'm half the time a girl. I don't know. A lot changes. There's a lot of variation in the fan
True.
art.
Although, to be fair, I weirdly enjoy the fact that people are making, like, gender-bent versions of us. Like, not in a weird way, just in the, like, hey, what if I was attractive kind of way.
See, I felt the same way when someone drew me as Banana Cat. It's like, finally, my true form.
Which is great.
Finally, others can see me how I see me, a banana cat.
Which is great, because fan art of you is usually indistinguishable from Jesus.
It's true.
But we all know Jesus would never be a fruit cat.
I don't know, man. I think it's possible.
Well, you think he split for our sins? Oh my god. But yes, guys, thank you all once again so much for tuning in. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Da